Coolant hoses may last a long time, but they don't last forever, and the need to replace them is often overlooked. A thorough hose inspection is a critical part of vehicle service, and when replacing them, proper installation is equally important. It is important to perform hose inspections beginning at 60,000 miles or at every oil change. Let's first focus on the inspection. Look closely at all coolant hoses for any signs of a leak, especially at the ends. Look for soft, swelling, or bulging hoses, oil-soaked hoses, or signs of abrasion due to misrouted hoses or other components. A swollen hose is a classic example of a hose damaged by contaminants. The coolant most likely has bypassed the tube and entered between the tube and cover of the hose. When leaking oil or other petroleum-based fluids contact a hose, it attacks the rubber compound and weakens the hose. These hoses must be replaced and the source of the leak repaired. If oil is found within the cooling system, the problem must be repaired and all hoses must be replaced. Look for any missing or damaged heat shields that protect hoses from high heat sources, and when a vehicle is equipped with modular hoses, closely inspect the plastic quick connect fittings and tees for cracking or discoloration that can indicate the material is breaking down and brittle, which could lead to sudden failure. Incorrect clamp placement in relation to the bead on the hose neck will cause damage to the hose or cause the hose to slip on the hose neck. When the clamp is positioned away from the bead, it forms a void that will fill up with coolant additives and rust from the cooling system, eventually causing a leak or damage to the hose neck or hose. In addition to a visual inspection, squeezing the hoses will indicate whether they still retain the firm resistance of new rubber or if they have softened from age. The most important thing to remember is that even when hoses appear healthy, there may be a hidden enemy lurking on the inside, and the most common cause of hose failure is not what we've covered so far, rather it's a process called electrochemical degradation, or ECD. ECD is caused by an electrical charge which is carried through the coolant from component to component. This occurs as coolant and metals in the cooling system react, generating an electrical charge. This chemical reaction causes micro cracks in the hose tube, allowing the coolant to attack and weaken the hose reinforcement fibers. ECD is a failure that starts on the inside, and these internal striations or cracks in the hose rubber can lead to pinhole leaks or a burst hose. When coolant appears to be leaking from the reinforcement fibers visible at the end of a hose, this is an indication that the hose is breaking down due to ECD, and the internal wall has been split, allowing coolant to attack the reinforcement fibers. Modern coolants can last a long time, but no coolant is lifetime. Cooling systems should be flushed, cleaned, and refilled with the specified OE coolant, following proper maintenance recommendations by the car manufacturer. Following the correct change or flush intervals will extend the life of all the cooling system components, including water pump, radiator, and hoses. When replacing coolant hoses, it is not recommended to remove and install a used hose. But whether a new hose is used or the existing hose, be sure to carefully clean any corrosion from water necks, hose nipples, and fittings. During installation, ensure hoses are fully seated on their fittings and make sure that molded hoses are properly positioned to prevent rubbing against any other components. Verify that any abrasion or heat-resistant sleeves are properly located. Continental molded coolant hoses are constructed to precisely match OE manufacturer configurations and specifications, and will ensure an easy installation and proper cooling system flow and prevent stress on the radiator and water neck connections. A hose that is kinked will restrict coolant flow. Compare the new hose to the old hose for the proper shape and cut or trim if necessary for proper fit. Constant tension or spring clamps provide an even, consistent clamping force during expansion and contraction, and should be reused when they are the OE style of clamp. Constant tension clamps that are rusty or distorted should be replaced. When using worm gear clamps, be careful not to over-tighten them, which can weaken the clamp and create uneven tension around the hose. Many states use road salt in the winter, which will cause rapid corrosion on some hose clamps. Use top-quality hose clamps or high-grade stainless clamps when possible. The clamp should be positioned close to the bead on the hose neck, or if using the old hose, the clamp should be positioned in the grooves of the previous placement. Modular hoses include hose branches connected with plastic or metal connectors in the hose and include a quick connect, valve, drain, air bleeder, or sensors. As this one hose cools many components in a complicated cooling system, all the hose components must be functioning properly to maintain the intended flow rate and temperature. When replacing modular hoses with quick connect fittings, ensure they are fully seated and confirm the retaining clip is properly engaged in the retaining tabs on the water neck. Also, make sure each component of the modular hose is included when compared to the original equipment part. Inspections are critical because it is not uncommon for hoses to look new at 60,000 miles. Regardless, most maintenance schedules require periodic inspection rather than a replacement interval. To extend the life of coolant hoses, be sure to repair all oil or fluid leaks, inspect hose routing and heat shields regularly, and always flush coolant according to manufacturer's specifications to prevent ECD. Thanks for watching.